For today's video, I gathered some interesting and insightful posts that wives and mothers of Russian soldiers posted for the past week. Okay, so let's begin with what Natalia posted yesterday. From this post, you'll find out how the Russian army finds the way to not pay some contract soldiers. So let's hear the post. Please tell me what actions can be taken in this situation and where to seek help. My husband signed a contract with the Ministry of Defense on July 1st, 2023. On July 7th, he was sent to Military Unit 11097 in Voronezh, where he arrived on July 8th. In reality, his training only lasted for 4 days. Then, on July 14th, 2023, my husband, along with 150 other people, was urgently flown to Rostov-on-Don, and immediately they were placed in different vehicles and sent to the border between Donetsk and Zaporizhia regions. He stopped contacting me. On July 18th, he called and said they were in the woods, there were shootings and bombings, there was no command, they had not signed any papers, and then they were being moved somewhere again. Later, he called a couple more times saying there was no command at all, no supplies, they had to go to the store, and he needed to cash out money. He asked for around 20,000 rubles for 2 weeks already. Then on Friday, July 28th, he called and said that they were sending him to the front combat zone within an hour. On the same day, July 28th, I called the unit my husband mentioned in Dagestan, Buynaksk, and they checked his information and said he was detached from the Voronezh unit on July 20th, but they didn't have him yet, and he was nowhere to be found. There was no guarantee that he would be attached to them. That's what they said. But at the same time, they are sending someone to the front who is not even officially listed in their unit. How is this possible? Today, a fellow soldier of my husband wrote to his wife that they approached their commander at the front to get Promidol, painkiller. But they were denied because they are not on the list, they are not attached, and still they were given weapons that they are not officially accounted for. How is it even possible that they are sent to the front without being officially attached to any unit? And they haven't received the presidential bonus of 195,000 rubles yet, and this amount is not listed in the military personnel account for payment. And if anything happens, like injuries, etc., how can they prove that they received the compensation at the front? Moreover, they should already be receiving combat pay, but how can it be possible if they're not officially listed on any papers? After reading this, the only question I have is where that woman has been this whole time. I mean, it's a well-known fact that Russia doesn't like to pay its soldiers. We all know this from intercepted phone calls. We already heard it too many times, right? Anyway, now let's read what a mother of a Russian soldier recently posted about the situation of her son. My son is currently deployed to the special military operation in the Zaporizhia direction. I won't mention the specific unit to avoid potential problems for him. There is a significant problem with provision there. Humanitarian aid doesn't reach them, and they have to cover their own expenses for food and all necessary items. Recently, they chipped in money together to buy a tent to avoid sleeping in damp trenches. My son asks to send cash through people who are going there because Russian banks like Sberbank and VTB do not operate in that area, and the local intermediaries charge a 20% fee for cashing out. Additionally, the prices for basic goods are astronomically higher compared to where we are. Another issue is the endless collection of money for some mythical needs in the unit. Moreover, he doesn't get combat pay, and a salary of 40,000 rubles is barely enough for essential needs. The overall morale within the unit is low, and there is talk among people of leaving if they don't start paying the combat pay. And in the end of this post, she just asks for help. She hasn't mentioned the unit of her son because he indeed might get in trouble for this. It's like Russian soldiers who post videos with complaints. They all get in troubles for this. Here is what Russian soldier Ramil posted about it. Recently, some of my fellow citizens who were among demobilized soldiers recorded a video appeal to Vladimir Vladimirovich regarding the same issue. However, the next day they appeared quite beaten down and recorded a rebuttal stating that they had acted impulsively. Well, we all understand what really happened, why the guys suddenly realized that, as it turns out, there were no problems. That's how we live. And here's the crazy story from Tatiana. We all heard some cruel women from intercepted phone calls, but this one is insanely cold. Just listen to it. I have such a situation. My spouse died at special military operation while serving on the front line, and he was only 28 years old. Supposedly he died in his brother's hands. I personally called the military enlistment office to inform them about his death, but there has been no official notification about his death from his unit or from the special military operation. It has been 2 months of silence. However, his mother has taken control of his salary as if it was her own. She used it to buy furniture and repair her own car. She even bought a motorcycle worth 70,000 rubles for another one of her beloved sons. What hurts me the most is that they know his body is in the morgue in Rostov-on-Don, but they haven't provided DNA samples or made any effort to claim his body from the morgue. Instead, someone advised her not to rush in finding his body as he is still officially listed as missing, and she can continue receiving his salary. It's devastating that she values money so much and seems to care more about it than finding closure for her son and the family. VTB Online Bank was only available to my husband. I didn't have access to it. He was under psychological pressure from his mother, and at first she caused me trouble regarding the card issue. She was like, "Why do you want his card? You won't get anything." However, I'm not interested in his hard-earned money. I'm concerned about him because he lost his life due to his mother's actions in this war. He went there just to earn money for her, and the result is that he only lasted months and they killed him. She kept calling him there, burdening him with her problems, but she never cared about him or what would happen to him. Her concerns were completely different. Now, he has been lying in the morgue for 2 months, unidentified, and she's spending his money without any intention of going to claim his body. His brother, on the other hand, completely ran away from the special military operation. Additionally to what I've just read, Tatiana also posted in replies to some comments that the body of her husband was lying in the field for approximately 5 days, and also she was threatened by other relatives from his family when they figure out that her husband probably died, and so the compensation eventually will come to someone's bank account, right? Anyway, guys, that's the most interesting, crazy, insightful posts that were published by wives and mothers of Russian soldiers for the past week. Hopefully you found it interesting. I'll see you soon, most likely with new intercepted phone calls, and goodbye to you all.